The photo came in at 11 o'clock at night. My wife in a hotel bathrobe, wet hair, laughing straight into the camera. 2 glasses on the nightstand. A number I didn't recognize. Then a second message. Sorry, wrong number. She was supposed to be at a conference in Dallas. I didn't call her. Didn't text the number back. What I did was save the photo, screenshot the sender's info, and check it against my contacts. Took about 4 seconds. Saul, regional sales rep at Jolene's company. Out of the San Antonio office. We'd met once. Company barbecue 6 months back. He walked right up, shook my hand, smiled wide. Jolene had asked me to help him find a contractor for some office renovation. I never followed up, but he kept my number. I forwarded everything to my work email and sat on the edge of the bed. Looked at the picture one more time. She wasn't posing for a selfie. Someone across the room took that shot. Someone comfortable enough to photograph my wife in a bathrobe at 11 o'clock at night. My hand was steady. That surprised me. I do this for a living. Walk into facilities, find what people try to hide, write the report. Emotions don't help. Evidence does. I opened a new folder on my laptop, dropped in the photo and the screenshot, and shut the screen. Set my alarm for 6 o'clock. Whatever was coming, it could wait until I had coffee and a clear head. She called at 8 o'clock the next morning. Bright voice, easy laugh. Told me the Dallas conference was boring. Same panels as last year. Bad coffee. Asked if I opened the joint checking account on my laptop. My name's the primary holder, full transaction history. Scroll back through March and there it was, a hotel charge in San Antonio, not Dallas. $214 posted the night of her last conference. I went back for months and found 3 more. Every single one lined up with a week she'd told me she was in Dallas. I printed the statements and pulled up Saul's LinkedIn. Location, San Antonio. Company, same as Jolene's. The picture was filling in fast. The printouts went into the folder with the photo. I poured myself a bourbon, first one in weeks, and drank it standing at the kitchen counter. That afternoon, I logged into the phone account, Family Plan, both lines under my name, and pulled the call detail for Jolene's number going back 90 days. Saul's number ran down every page. Calls every morning before work, texts through the day, 10, 15, 20 a day. More calls at night, always after 9 o'clock, always when I was in the garage or already in bed. This wasn't a fling that started at a happy hour. This was a daily conversation that had been going on for months. She had a whole second life running through the phone I was paying for. I highlighted his number in yellow on the first page, so you could see the pattern at a glance. Didn't need to highlight much. The number was practically the only one on there. By Friday, the folder was an inch thick. Bank records, call logs, the photo, Saul's LinkedIn page. I sat at my desk and organized everything by date. Lined up the edges, clipped it shut. Same routine I follow before a compliance review. Gather it clean, label it, walk-in ready. Only difference was this time the facility was my own house. The dog came over and put his chin on my knee. I scratched his ear and closed the folder. Jolene came home Sunday. She talked through dinner, a panel on supply chain logistics, a cocktail reception she ducked out of early. Details. She always had details. After the plates were in the sink, I leaned against the counter and said, "By the way, ran into Saul on LinkedIn the other day. He never did find that contractor." She was drying her hands on the dish towel. Her fingers stopped for half a second. "That's all, half a second." "Saul?" She folded the towel. "I barely know him. Completely different departments." "Right. My mistake." I smiled. She smiled back. There it was. I'd handed her an open door, a chance to say anything true. His name, the trips, the phone calls. Even a half-truth would have been something. Instead, she looked me in the eye and lied without blinking. Whatever I'd been holding onto, something hoped that there was an explanation, that the photo wasn't what it looked like. She killed it herself with that towel still in her hands. No more waiting for honesty. I had a week to get everything in place. Monday morning, I called Ed Harrell, attorney, family law, recommended by a guy at work who'd gone through his own divorce 2 years back. I laid it out in 10 minutes. The photo, the bank statements, the phone records. Ed was quiet for a moment, then said the house was strong ground. Mortgage in my name, every payment from my account. Joint checking would be frozen the day we filed. He could have the paperwork ready by Friday. "Draw it up," I said. "I'll tell you when to file." That night, I came home and found Jolene on the couch scrolling through her phone. I sat down next to her. "I was thinking," I said, 21 years next. I covered it with mine, held it for a second, then stood up and went to the kitchen. The reservation was real. The dinner was real. What she didn't know was that Saturday night was the last meal she'd eat as my wife. Saturday. Gallagher's was dim, candlelit, white tablecloths. Jolene wore a black dress I hadn't seen before. She'd done her hair, put on earrings. She looked good and she knew it. We ordered steaks, talked about Trey's semester, the neighbor's fence project, a trip to the coast we'd never taken. She laughed twice, real laughs, full and loose. Then I picked up my phone, glanced at the screen like I was checking a notification, tapped it once, set it on the white tablecloth, face up, right between the bread plate and the candle. The lock screen wallpaper. Jolene in a hotel bathrobe, wet hair, 2 wine glasses on the nightstand, laughing straight into the camera of whoever was lying across from her. I cut into my steak. It took about 90 seconds. She reached for her water, and her eyes passed over the phone. Her hand stopped in the air. The color left her face in stages. Cheeks first, then lips. She looked at me. I looked at her. Shoot. Swallowed. "He saved my number as Jolene's husband," I said. "Picked the wrong name from the list. You should thank him. He made this very easy." Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. Her fingers gripped the edge of the tablecloth. She looked at the phone again, then back at me, and I could see it land. Every conversation from the past week, every dinner, every smile. She understood I'd known the whole time. "Reed, it's not." I raised one hand off the table. Didn't need to raise my voice. "Don't." I reached into the inside pocket of my jacket and pulled out a manila envelope. Set it next to her wine glass. She stared at it like it might detonate. "Open it." Her eyes moved down the page. "Second receipt, 3rd, 4th. Each one on a night she'd told me she was in Dallas. Then the phone records, Saul's number highlighted in yellow, running down every page, every single day for months. The last sheet was the photo. His number circled at the top. She set the stack on the table and pressed both hands flat on the cloth like the room was tilting. "Those are copies," I said. "Originals are with my attorney. Filing happens Monday morning. Joint account freezes the same day." I folded my napkin, placed it next to my plate and stood up. The bill was already paid. I'd handed my card to the hostess on the way in. I walked past her chair and out the front door. Warm night, cedar in the air, and my truck parked right under the streetlight. Monday at 9:15, Ed filed. By noon the joint account was frozen. I spent the afternoon changing the code on the garage door and resetting the security system. New 6-digit pins, both of them. Jolene called 4 times that evening. I let everyone go to voicemail. She texted long messages, urgent, pleading. I didn't open them. I'd said what needed saying across a white tablecloth with a steak knife in my hand. Nothing left to add. Tuesday afternoon, she pulled into the driveway. I watched through the doorbell camera. Her standing on the front step, punching the old garage code, trying it again, then walking to the front door and trying that one. Nothing worked. She called my phone while staring straight into the camera. I was sitting 12 feet away on the other side of the door, watching her face on the screen. Her jaw tightened. Her hand pressed flat against the door frame. She tried the garage code one more time, stepped back, and looked up at the house like she was seeing it for the first time. 20 minutes she stood there. Then she got back in her car and drove away. I turned off the screen and made myself coffee. Opened the front door and there was Saul on my porch in a polo shirt, hands in his pockets like he was dropping off a casserole. "Look, I know this is messed up," he started, "but I want you to hear my side." I stepped forward. 1 step. Nothing aggressive. Just enough to close the distance. He backed up onto the walkway without thinking about it. "You sent me that photo yourself." I said, "You don't get a side." He opened his mouth. "Get off my property. Next time my lawyer calls yours." I closed the door. Didn't slam it. Just pressed it shut. Turned the deadbolt. Through the front window, I watched him walk to his car parked at the curb. Passenger side, Jolene. She'd been sitting there the whole time. Waiting. She'd talked him into coming, I figured. Thought maybe he could reason with me. Man to man. Explain it away. Smooth it over. Saul got in. They sat there for a minute. Then the car pulled out and disappeared around the corner. I almost laughed. She'd brought the man who ruined our marriage to negotiate the terms of its ending. The following Monday, a long text from Jolene. I read the whole thing standing in the kitchen. Saul ended it. Dropped her the same week the divorce papers showed up. Turns out a man who cheats with someone's wife doesn't stick around for the fallout. She was staying with her sister Carolyn in Round Rock. Wrote that she'd made a terrible mistake. That she missed our life. That 21 years had to count for something. The last line, "Can we at least talk?" I typed one word and sent it. Noted. Same thing I write on inspection reports when a facility acknowledges a violation but the citation stands. Short. Final. No room for appeal. That evening I called Trey. Didn't get into details. You don't have to. I'll drive up this weekend. I hung up and stood there for a minute looking at the backyard through the kitchen window. The light was going gold through the live oaks. 21 years of mowing that grass, fixing that fence, paying that mortgage. All of it still mine. Saturday morning, I signed the last pages Ed had sent over, the property settlement. No contest from her side. The house stayed with me. My name on the deed, my money in every payment. I sealed the envelope, set it by the front door for Monday's mail. Picked up my phone. Scrolled to Saul's contact and deleted it. Found the photo. Bathrobe, wet hair, 2 glasses, that laugh. Held my thumb on it for a second, then deleted that too. The screen was clean. I walked out to the driveway. April morning, already warm. Mockingbird going off in the pecan tree. I pulled up the number I'd saved Thursday, a realtor Trey's girlfriend had recommended. This is Reed. I want to see that 2-bedroom near downtown, the one on Lamar. When can we walk through it? Tuesday afternoon. I told her I'd be there. I climbed into the F-150, started the engine, and pulled out onto the road heading south. In the rearview mirror, the house got smaller. Brick. What?